Hello, everybody. The Army of Light Earth Division, the boots on the ground. It's Shawna L. Francis, and today is January 23rd, 2025. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. We're doing a bit of a weekly briefing, and it's been a bit of a delay. I know I'm normally creating these videos on Tuesday night, and for whatever reason this week, it took Melchizedek a little bit more time to work through the content that they wanted to present this week. So my apologies for the delay. And I know we're in a bit of a strange transition period with the videos, having wrapped up, for the most part, the Bible series. And now Melchizedek says we're just taking this kind of a week at a time in terms of the kind of content they want to bring forward, what we want to talk about, what we're seeding the consciousness with. That's what this is all about. So this is interesting this week, the channeled messages basically around the first seeding of humanity on the planet, and they talk about the Anunnaki. And I think this might be the first time they've talked about the Anunnaki here. It's not a very long channeling, but what they're saying is they're laying the foundation of information here. And for many of us who are into this kind of ancient astronaut theory, or, into the galactics and where we have originally come from, I don't think that this information is going to be much of a surprise, but I do love that Melchizedek is confirming some things that maybe have been swirling out there and maybe setting the record straight on some other things. So it sounds like it's just kind of the beginning, and there should be more information coming. I have also been spending hours the last several weeks just talking with Melchizedek about Lemuria and Atlantis, and about my early times as a reptilian and as a starseed, and how I came to be joining the Galactic Federation of Light. So I have a lot of really cool content, a lot of Q&A with Melchizedek about these kinds of things, and I don't think we're quite ready to bring this forward, but know that I think that's also where this is going to be going, more kind of the history of humanity, things that were not taught in the textbooks, of course. How are you doing? How's everybody doing out there? Things seem to be pretty frenetic. I will say I've been pretty tired. I'm forcing myself to get out and walk most every day. It has been super cold, below freezing here, which also means that it's sunny and not raining, which is great. But I've been tired. I'm napping every day. I'm getting a good 9 hours of sleep. I think I've got some hormonal menopausal stuff going on too. That's also adding to this, but just feeling kind of quiet. It definitely feels like a transition period for me, for us with Melchizedek. Excuse me. So I'm just curious how everybody out there is feeling. I know there's a lot of optimism, and the star seeds, the light workers who I speak to on a one-on-one basis, there's just a lot of feeling of just really feeling centered, grounded, feeling good, feeling super joyful and happy and optimistic about this year. So let me know how you're doing. I am available for one-on-ones, although I do have some travel coming up next month, the month of February. I'm not quite ready to talk about that. Maybe next week we'll talk more about that. So February is going to be a little funky, but I do want to support you. So if you need any help with your transition, your awakening, if you have questions, please let me know. You can reach me at shauna@shawnalfrancis.com, or through my website, shawnalfrancis.com. There is a contact form. So I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's go ahead and get started here with the Order of Melchizedek. This is the channeled messages that basically came through over the last 4 or 5 days. And even though it's not much, it took a while to took a while for all this to come through. So again, I think what they're saying is they just want to be careful about how they seed consciousness and what they're saying, and it's kind of dipping a toe in. All right, here they are. We are expecting many of you to scoff at these words. We would like to set the record straight on a few things. Thank you in advance for your willingness to hear these words with an open mind and an open heart. We are speaking about the ascension, about the negative reptilian regime, humanity's awakening, and this entire transformative process. One thing we haven't spoken much about includes that the whole of humanity is at an extreme disadvantage due to the fact that many of you don't understand or don't know that your species has gone through a massive DNA manipulation since you were initially seeded here. A massive DNA manipulation. This DNA manipulation has had many downstream effects. All right, so I believe, they talked about 200,000 years ago really being kind of the pinnacle, kind of where those who were running the show decided we're going to seed Earth with humans and humanoid reptilians at the same time, and we're going to see what happens. And obviously it went horribly wrong. And this is why we are ascending now, to right this wrong. Okay. They continue here. Not the least of these effects include an extreme aversion to questioning authority. An extreme aversion to questioning authority. Yes, dear friends, this personality trait has been bred into you by several different outside sources, outside races, including the negative reptilian regime. The Anunnaki was another such race. They say here, let us talk briefly about the Anunnaki. The group of which we speak came to planet Earth approximately 100,000 years ago in search of resources. The most important resource they found here was gold, and it was plentiful and it was reasonably easy to extract and collect. There were already humans on the planet at this time, so they set their sights on using the native humans to help create a new hybrid race that would work for them, a hybrid race who would work for them. Over many tens of thousands of years, the Anunnaki, who were not reptilian by the way, they added, honed their craft in creating perfect hybrid races who would be easy to control and manipulate, who didn't question authority for the most part, and would be dutiful and loyal workers. Seeder races such as the Anunnaki played a very large role in manipulating and crafting many of the different races that you see on planet Earth. All right, so this is a big mouthful. The Anunnaki, not reptilian according to the Order of Melchizedek. Here on the planet 100,000 years ago, where they were looking for resources, they found gold. And they already saw that there were humans on the planet, and so they decided to do some DNA manipulation here to try to create human hybrids who would not be questioning authority, who would do what they were told to do. And they would be dutiful and loyal workers, Melchizedek said. All right, and that took tens of thousands of years to craft kind of the perfect human that would work for them. Okay, they continue. We've spoken at length about how humanity is under direct and conscientious manipulation, almost management, if you will, by the negative reptilian regime. Their objectives have been made easier to attain because of the makeup of humanity at a DNA level. The negative reptilians spent many thousands of years interbreeding with humanity to form the bloodlines that we've spoken of, deeply tied to the reptilian agenda, easily manipulated and controlled. As stated previously, it would have taken an extreme act of will for those within that hive mind bloodline control to extract themselves from that stronghold. It is quite gripping. All right, so you have the Anunnaki, who needed races of people groups of people to work the gold mines, to work gold, to extract gold, to collect gold for them. In the meantime, the negative reptilians are also interbreeding with humanity to create these bloodlines like the Windsors and the Mountbattens, as Queen Elizabeth talked about in the 44 sessions of channeling I did with her back in 2023. All right. So all of this is creating a perfect storm for humanity, unfortunately, to be under the subjugation of the negative reptilians for all this time. And they continue here. Then on the other hand, the Anunnaki, through trial and error over many, many generations, were able to successfully craft humans who could be somewhat self-sustaining, yet also do their bidding from a manual labor perspective. All it took was instilling fear to keep most humans in line. Boy, here we go again. Another race, another species, the Anunnaki, besides the negative reptilian regime, really wanting to manipulate humanity through DNA, through interbreeding, through hybridization, and then using fear to control us. I mean, it's a travesty, really. Melchizedek continued here. Imagine your races today. Collectively, there are commonalities, but yet there are obvious differences as well. The different races on the planet represent the somewhat subtle, yet at times profound genetic experimentation carried out by the Anunnaki and other creators in the very early stages of your species development. All right, so yeah, I mean, I think besides just that the different races here of humanity of today, we look different, you know, I mean, there's also other differences that you could probably point out. So they're saying that this is a direct result of these DNA programs, the genetic manipulation from early on in our history. Okay. The Anunnaki were regarded as gods to the humans they were developing, Melchizedek said here. They did not look like humans. They had larger slanted eyes, much smaller noses, and bigger heads. Often they'd wear masks to disguise their true identity and instill fear, should a human ever see them without their masks on. It's also worth noting that some of their genetic experiments failed for one reason or another. All right. So the Anunnaki, they were humanoid, but they didn't look like humans. Big slanted eyes, bigger heads, small noses, and they would wear masks to hide their true identity. And I've heard this before. And I think too, a lot of, ancient drawings, for example, showing people with animal heads. Maybe some of this could be attributed to the Anunnaki, who would wear masks, who would wear something over their heads to cover up that they don't look like the humans that they're trying to control. All right. It said it's worth noting that some of their genetic experiments failed for one reason or another. Yeah, so possibly it's like only the most viable species genetic experiments survived, and that's who you're seeing today after all this time. And they continue here. It was important that the humans they were crafting could be self-sufficient, could learn to take care of themselves, interbreed, and live productively without much direct oversight. These human characteristics fell beautifully in line with the negative reptilians' agenda for humanity as a whole. Yeah, imagine the negative reptilians who aren't out amongst us. We are really kind of living on this planet with none the wiser to the fact that they are controlling things from behind the curtain. So we are, and I think this is a big reason why it's going to be so hard for many people to believe that we are actually being controlled and manipulated by an outside race such as this, because we all seem to be doing our thing, and we cannot see the hand that controls from behind the curtain. And again, this was all part of the plan, all part of our plan. Melchizedek. It is true that there are many among you who are strong leaders, who question authority, who work very hard at maintaining autonomy and independence. Humanity also has the good fortune of being an exceptionally loving species, with strong emotions, a sense for right and wrong, closely connected to family, and special abilities to be creative, even in the densest of dense fields. You have a great appreciation for beauty, for art and music, for self-expression. You don't give up easily, and you can be quite hopeful. All of these characteristics help make you one of the most sought-after expressions an oversoul can make. Such diversity and richness and depth, all taking place on this incredible and abundant Mother Earth. Yeah, it's like, you wonder why an oversoul would want to send, many, many aspects. Us in human form here, we're aspects of an oversoul. We have many, our oversouls have many aspects that have most likely that have been on Earth. And, we reincarnate over and over again here to have experiences, to learn what we need to learn, and to balance karma. Those are the big things the guides have talked about. So why would we want to come down here knowing that we've been genetically manipulated to be subservient, not to question authority, and to be dutiful and not ask a lot of questions? Well, it's because of all these other things. We're actually quite a beautiful species, and this is an incredible opportunity for the soul to learn. And the contrast we enjoy. When we're in other places on the other side of the veil or in between in the auric fields, in between lives, everything is really beautiful and peaceful, and that unity is felt. We come down here, we forget all of that, and it's really a test. It's really a test for us how far we've come. We can forget who and what we are and come down here and still operate within love, within unity, and grow and evolve and experience all the things we want to experience. I mean, that is truly allowing an evolution. It's the school of hard knocks. We don't get many other opportunities to evolve quite like we can here on Earth. So this is a jewel in the cosmos. The Galactics and the Ascended Masters and Melchizedek have always said this: Earth is a jewel in the cosmos, and humanity is a very special, special species. And again, kind of like our one of our greatest attributes is our emotions, our ability to express emotions. I guess a lot of species out there don't have quite the capabilities that we do in terms of emoting. And you'd think it kind of feels like a burden sometimes, doesn't it? So know that it's a superpower that we have. All right. And they're wrapping this up here. They said here, we try to shed light on these subjects, knowing that you'll have so many questions about such things. The question of the Anunnaki has been around for some time now. We take great care when bringing you this information. So while it may seem high level, know that we must first establish a baseline. From here we will build. All right, and that's where they ended this. One of the things too that I'm trying to piece together here is really kind of more of the timelines, especially because my lineage, my oversoul's lineage with all these different aspects, coming from a reptilian background, moving into this human background, a seraphim, an angel in training, really working against the negative reptilian regime and balancing all this karma all this time. It's like, how is all of this fitting together? So know that I am working on kind of a bigger timeline based on what Melchizedek has told me, and kind of waiting for their go ahead to, release this information. But I think it just will be some nice clarity. How did the Anunnaki and the negative reptilians fit in with Atlantis, fit in with Lemuria? What was the general time frame that we're talking about here from a linear perspective? So I'm interested in those kinds of things, and I'm talking with Melchizedek about them. If you've got questions, put them in the comments. We'll see if they want to address any of that stuff too. Yeah, Atlantis, the fall of Atlantis, 20,000 years ago is all. So Atlantis was around, according to Melchizedek, for 180,000 years. And according to Melchizedek, this batch of humanity that is on the planet in this moment, it's considered a separate batch from, say, the Lemurians and Atlanteans. We are a different batch of humanity here. And according to Melchizedek, we've really only had our act together like the last 7,000 or 8,000 years, which really isn't that long when you think the Lemuria was around for about 50,000 years, they said, and Lemuria started around 200,000 years ago. Atlantis started around the same time, within 8,000 years of each other. And then it was 100,000 years ago that the Anunnaki showed up. So I'm building a timeline so we can all kind of be on the same page here and understanding how the Order of Melchizedek at least wants to explain how this all unfolded for us and how we're here today on the planet. Okay, that's really everything. I do expect to make a video next week. I don't know if we're just going to get off of the Tuesday night schedule. This took some time for this information to come through. So I'm just really going with the flow. Thanks for your patience. And I'll try to keep you updated via Facebook or YouTube in terms of if I'm not making a video or if I am. I've also gone back to my original videos, the 100 Days Channeling with the Galactic Federation of Light, and I've been making shorts. So the guides have kind of guided me to do this, and it's been so amazing to go back to that old footage from 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, and pull out those little snippets for the kind of really hoping to connect with new audiences, new folks, get this message out, get the frequency out, and I think it's kind of cool and it's kind of working. So look for those shorts here that I've been putting out to, linking to original videos from with live channeling of the Galactic Federation of Light. Okay, team, I love you. I hope you're doing amazing. I will see you all next week. Mwah.